Hey there! Welcome back to the Debate Deathmatch server, and welcome to the second debate that will be going on in our debate tournament. In this debate, our two debaters, TheDemonDweller and Bionic Panda, will be going face to face as they represent their two characters. One being Zoro from One Piece, and the other being Giovanna from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Once again, remember these are fresh, new debaters, so they are still learning how to debate. And without further ado, I think we can jump straight into the debate. And, well, let's do some trolling. Some debating. Here we go, fellas. Who wants to start opening statements?
Do you want to start or?
No, you can go ahead first.
Okay, so basically, Giovanna is a stand user from Part 5 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Vento Arreo, or Golden Wind. The most powerful thing about Giorno is not him himself, but it is instead his stand, Golden Experience, in its upgraded form, Golden Experience Requiem, which is seen towards the end of the show. So basically, I'm going to be relying pretty heavily on Giorno's stand rather than he himself and its abilities.
All right. I guess my character is Roronoa Zoro. I believe he's strong because he uses 3 swords, and keeps up in speed with Luffy from the second arc.
All right. So how do you want to start? You want to start doing like speed or strength, or do you just want to run into abilities first?
We can do speed first.
Okay. So I'm going to be relying pretty heavily on Golden Experience Requiem for this debate since it is the ultimate version of Giorno Stand. And so basically, I'm just going to post this picture here. And as you can see, Golden Experience Requiem actually has no speed. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't move at all, actually. It's actually just more of a joke than anything. So actually, the ability for Golden Experience Requiem is Return to Zero. And the activation for this ability is instantaneous. As you can see in these scans, I'll show. So going to be in reverse order. But basically, in Diavolo's, Diavolo is the villain of Part 5, and he has the ability to look into the future and also to delete time, but he's the only one who can act inside of that deleted time. And so in this scene, Golden Experience Requiem and Giorno are basically unconscious and frozen in time, and Diavolo is acting inside of deleted time. But as you can see, Golden Experience Requiem actually undoes that time, essentially reverting Diavolo's abilities back to zero, which, as you can see, is the ability can turn the opponent's actions or will to zero. So it reverts Diavolo's actions back to zero. And that ability has essentially infinite range and instantaneous activation. So that is basically all I have for speed.
All right, for speed for Zoro. Let me find it real quick. Although he's typically strong, bruising fighter, Zoro has frequently demonstrated tremendous speed and agility to propose opponents to avoid their attacks. He is considered one of the fastest Straw Hats due to his physical power, increasing his running ability. Although it is difficult to quantify his speed in a race, in a duel with the zombie master swordsman Raimu, the two of them were able to parry the other attacks before the onlookers even registered. Yeah, I guess that's all I have.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I guess, do you want to just move on to strength next then?
Yeah.
Okay, so I actually don't really have that many strengths feats for strength. The one thing I do have for Giorno though is actually just another ability. I guess this is all just abilities. So a classic feature of the stands is they usually have war cries when they do a fast series of punches. Typical ones are Dio's Muda Muda and Jotaro Kujo's his one, whichever it was. I forgot. Anyway, not important. So Giorno is actually the son of Dio, and his stand cry is also Muda Muda, but a feature of his is that he can imbue his punches with life force, essentially putting the opponent at an increased mental capability in which they have an out-of-body experience and they experience pain at a very heightened rate. This lasts so long that upon the first instance of this being seen in the manga against Bruno Bucciolati, he has enough time in one punch to fully experience the pain and describe how it feels in multiple sentences. So that's a feat for strength. It's also there is a 7-page. It's called the 7-page Muda, in which there are 7 pages of Giorno just kind of laying down fists on this one bad guy for 7 pages, and it kills him. And in between those punches, there were those life force punches, and it was the shock that actually killed the guy instead of just the punches. And so that's basically all I have for raw strength. Actually, there's one more thing before I quit here. There is a clip from the show in which Golden Experience Requiem lifts a rock and then shoots it at light speed, going through Diavolo's hand and not flattening, but crushing the base of a building and causing it to fall over. That's all that I have for strength.
For strength, Zoro possesses immense physical strength and frequently spends his time sea lifting incredibly large and heavy weights to keep growing stronger. Zoro strength plays a large role in his abilities as a swordsman, as his strikes possess a great immense power, range, and cutting ability. Thanks to Zoro's strength, Zoro is capable of slashing through large buildings. He uses 3-sword style. And I'm so bad. This is my first debate.
Just take your time.
As I said earlier, he can keep up with Luffy. Zoro's never been stronger than Luffy. It's just another moment of the SHS growing at the exponential rate that would mean Zoro somehow grew just as fast, if not faster, than Luffy without training or hard fights. That's just headcanon at this point. I guess that's all I got for strength.
Okay, so then I'm gonna move on to just abilities. I guess I kind of have been talking about them, but just more generally about abilities and what they do. So here's a video of Golden Experience First Awakening. You don't have to watch the whole thing, but that's the most easily accessible way that I saw. It's basically what I posted earlier, more or less. But basically, what goes on is that Diavolo is starting to erase time, and he's about to kill Giorno, and then out of basically nowhere, Golden Experience Requiem moves, which should not be possible within the deleted time. Well, they kind of move, but he can see them moving before it happens, and the Golden Experience Requiem starts to rewind time and then just starts moving however he wants, showing that Golden Experience Requiem can act basically free of linear concepts like time or space. And as you can see in the stand description, which I posted earlier, I'll just post it again. The description says it can turn the opponent's actions or will to 0. Whoever is hit by this ability will even have his death turned to 0, which means he'll repeatedly experience death over and over again. So that basically means that if Giorno manages to kill them, then they will be stuck inside of an infinite death loop, basically putting them in. Well, I mean, they're dead already, so like whatever, but they're just dead forever for eternity, which is not a good place to be if you're a normal person. And another feature of Golden Experience Requiem is that it's a stand, right? And so a feature of stands is that non-stand users cannot see stands in general. Usually it's for the more humanoid stands. There are a few exceptions to this rule, like strength in part 3. And I think there are a few other ones, but these humanoid stands like Golden Experience Requiem and King Crimson cannot be seen by regular people, such as Roronoa or Zoro. So basically, Zoro would have no idea what is attacking him, and he would not be able to do anything. And if Roronoa or Zoro even had the will to fight against Giorno, Golden Experience Requiem would simply turn that to 0. Possibly even turning his will to 0. And maybe he would kill himself or something. I don't know. But basically, that would send him into an infinite death loop. And that's basically how Golden Experience Requiem be. That's all that I really have on that.
Does wait? Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
All right. So, your character, doesn't he have to hit somebody first to use his uh golden requiem?
Well, it's so he doesn't have the ability of resetting things is instantaneous and has infinite range. But the resetting of their death to 0, he has to kill them for that to activate.
Oh, so he has to kill him first.
He has to kill them to enter the infinite death loop. But to set their will to 0 or to revert any actions that they do, that is an instantaneous action. That is an infinite range. Yeah.
All right.
Do we have anything else that we want to argue, or do we just want to move it to conclusions?
I think I've expressed everything that I want to share.
Okay. I'll give Matt a little bit of time to think if he wants to do a rebuttal or not, and then you guys can do conclusions whenever.
I don't know. I guess I don't have anything else.
Sure. So I think basically what it boils down to is even if Roronoa or Zoro had the willpower to withstand Golden Experience Requiem, that would just kind of be deleted, or I guess nullified would be the word that you would use, by the ability. It's kind of not fair, this ability. I think the only way to beat it is reality over right. But yeah, I think Roronoa Zoro, while he is a very strong opponent, he would just not be able to even lay a hand on Giorno because, first of all, he wouldn't be able to see the stand. So he would just be hit by the life force punches and then possibly killed. And if he was killed, he would be sent into that infinite death loop. So that's basically how I feel about how Giorno would win.
All right. My conclusion is I don't know. Don't have one.
I think I'm pretty okay with that.
The audio for me as the judge actually did not work with this upload, so I'll just tell you who I picked to win this debate was Broadster, because he was arguing a lot more points and brought a lot more evidence to the debate, as well as questioned a few more of the points, rather than Matt, who did not come with those scans and was a little hesitant to prove his points and question Brody's side.
Thanks a bunch, General _ Smiley. So, so what I'm thinking here is, yeah, I agree. I think there was a great deal. Well, like more like of like that in between that you were talking about of like the questions asked and like the discussion between the last one, which is to say Zero. Sorry to dunk on Dino Dude and Boy 2 meme like that, but just had to do it to them. Both reference the source material of your show to go through the abilities. I was like something I was thinking is no one really like brought up durability. I don't know if like those were feats we were gonna talk about at all or no. It was almost like moot because like the only thing I was thinking, and this is just I don't know, I haven't watched the show, so it's like I still don't really fully understand what Golden Experience Requiem does to the guy.
Yeah,
It
you don't
sounds
really
pretty-
get that after watching the show either. So
Sounds pretty It doesn't even seem. I don't even know if durability would
that
be
wouldn't
able to
help.
play with it. And on the other hand, it seems to me that just despite like the I believe like triple sword style and you say that Zoro was able to keep up with Luffy Matt, but the only issue at that point is as the spectators we don't know like how strong Luffy is, so that's the only thing I was thinking was like, okay, well he can keep up with Luffy, but where does that get us from there?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Who's
I
Luffy?
have watched 0 episodes of this show, so Brody probably knew like what you were talking about, but I was like, okay, he's the main character, right? So he must be pretty good, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's a bit strong, you could say.
Just a little bit.
But just from the outside of it just seems that Giorno with Golden Experience Requiem is it just seems like too much for Zoro to handle. So I'll give it to Brody as well.
Learn, rationalize, and happy debating.